But still, they took 3 out of 4 in the series. They did what they were supposed to. They looked like the better team out there. And now they are going into a 12-game stretch that is going to tell their entire season.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. He's Brian McKeon. I've been hosting the show since 2018. Brian's been with me since April of 2024. We have seen lots of things happening to this Yankee team. We're lifelong fans, and it's been fun so far, right, Brian?
Yeah, we got a pennant and a couple of all-time bad losing stretches going for us. So
yeah.
Everything in between.
Yeah. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Football season is around the corner. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets now. Before we get started, don't forget, subscribe to Locked On Yankees on whichever podcasting platform you prefer. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, like our videos, hit the bell so you're notified whenever our videos go live. And I don't want to toot our own horn, but we're going to toot our own horn. We are fewer than 200 subscribers away from the big 10K. So that's very exciting. So if you're not subscribed, go do it now. We also have a TikTok page. If you're there, follow us at LockedOn_Yankees. On today's show, we'll tell you some news from around the league and from the Mexican League, because a former Yankee is doing something we never thought he would ever do. We're also going to look at how everyone is doing heading into the last month of the regular season. It's September 1st. But first, let's talk about how the Yankees did against the White Sox.
Well, they did what they were supposed to do, right? And we discussed it after the previous series when they got out of there with a sweep, that this was a team that you, again, needed to take 3 out of 4 from. Now, we weren't going to call sweep in a 4-game series, and it got actually really close to one. But still, they took 3 out of 4 in the series. They did what they were supposed to. They looked like the better team out there. And now they are going into a 12-game stretch that is going to tell their entire season.
Yes, I would like to say that I was complaining after they lost on Sunday on Blue Sky, and someone pointed out to me, yeah, but you guys said on the show that 3 out of 4 would be acceptable. And I said, see, okay, people pay attention to us when we talk on the show.
Yeah, and that was coming off of a 7-game winning streak, so it's hard to be like too mad at them after that. Still, it does still annoy you because Sunday's game was winnable.
Yeah,
it was in the grass, so it's understandable to be a little annoyed at that. Right. But still, coming off of 7, if you told me in that 8-game stretch they'd take 7 out of the 8 games, I'd be okay with that.
Did you feel, because I felt, that when Tauchman robbed Stanton's home run, that almost felt like the point of the game, even though it was early? I don't know why. It just felt like a bad thing. And I thought to myself, ugh, this might be the death knell.
Yeah, ball wasn't traveling as much in Sunday's game either. Like, balls in the air were not traveling as much. That was a just a death kiss from Mike Tauchman. Of course, former Yankee doing that too against Giancarlo Stanton, who's been outrageous. But yeah, overall, the one positive I can take out of Sunday's game is the fact that Aaron Judge looks like his swing is back and his timing is there. Yes. He really gotten going. I believe it was 2 home runs in the White Sox series. He's really starting to find his groove and find his flow. When he starts getting into these kind of modes, it gets scary because he's still doing what he's really done his entire career, where he mixes in home runs and base hits. It's not just the home run ball. He's a rare breed when it comes to one of these. There are power hitters who get, like Cody Bellinger, who give you 30 home runs in a year, but mix in a bunch of base hits, and they're considered a power hitter, and they're a threat for the long ball, but they're not necessarily going to hit 50, 60 home runs. Most of those guys that give you the 15 to 60 home run range are usually guys who, let's be real, it's usually all or nothing. Yeah, and some of them are better hitters than others, but not all of them are Aaron Judge, where it's hitting 320, hitting 330, while also giving you the power. He's in Alex Rodriguez territory, and it's the best production-wise they've had in a player since Alex Rodriguez when it comes to base hits and home runs. It's
kind of funny. Both home runs almost went to the same exact spot.
Yeah.
In that left center field, almost corner there. Like
an incredible power.
When I saw the trajectory of Sunday's home run, I thought, this looks familiar. Is that a replay from the other home run? Because it looked very similar.
But 2 of those games in a row, really, really good, solid contact. His timing is all there. That's what you need to see, especially going into the stretch they're going into.
Yeah.
Let's just take away from what happened on the rest of the teams that they're currently chasing or involved with. They won 3 out of 4. While both Boston and Toronto lost 2 out of 3 in their series. Boston lost to Pittsburgh, by the way, which is an awful spot for Pittsburgh. For Boston, Toronto had to play the Milwaukee Brewers. So at least it was a little bit of a different challenge for Toronto. But going into Sunday, the Yankees got it down to 2 games in the division. So they could have got it to, the Blue Jays actually won on Sunday. The Yankees lost. So it's back to 3 going into these upcoming series. But the fact that the Yankees have gotten it down to 3, we've been telling you guys this for the last couple of weeks. They had it all there. I mean, it never got to the point where it was too far where they couldn't reach the Blue Jays. And now, if a month ago when they were playing terrible, Stacey, if I told you going into September the Yankees could be ahead of the Red Sox and 3 back of the Blue Jays, you probably would have signed for that.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's kind of why Sunday's game was annoying, just the way it ended up and how they basically died after those 2 early runs and then they didn't do anything after that. You know, it's not easy to sweep a 4-game series, but the White Sox are not a good team. And it was just frustrating to see them not be able to pull off the win, knowing that Boston and the Blue Jays were winning their games, because it would have been pretty amazing if they kept it at 2. But 3's not bad. After the stretch that they had, you know, they improved in August. They finished above 500. They had this stretch has been really good for them. Aside from the loss on Sunday, in the last 16 games, they lost 4 games. They were 12-4. They lost the 3 games against the Red Sox and the 1 game against the White Sox.
In the last 18, they've lost 4. They're 14-4 in their last 18. That's like that big stretch of bad teams they were going into. So, I mean, you sign for that every single time. And I keep seeing this narrative out there that, oh, they only beat up on bad teams. Well, that's what you can only play what's on your schedule in front of you. So they're beating up on those teams. Good for them. That's what they're supposed to do. And now you got to fix up what you do against the better teams. We've seen plenty of Yankee years where they beat up on the good teams and don't beat the bad teams at all. So you got to beat who's on your schedule. You got to beat who's in front of you. They're doing that. One observation from the White Sox series before we get into the other games. The bad teams in baseball, which I think you'd consider the White Sox one of them. This is an extremely hot take. The bad teams in baseball are really bad. They're lifeless when you watch these games. The White Sox, like, there's no one in the crowd. I don't know how these players get up for these games. I mean, other than the paycheck, there's no one in these crowds. Lifeless rosters. Like, the teams just have nothing going for them every single game coming in. It's got to be. I know they're getting paid a hefty sum of money, but it is got to be tough to play games for these teams. These are some bad baseball teams.
Yeah. Let's talk about Friday, because Trent Grisham hit his 28th home run of the season. And I say it every time he hits a home run, or he has a game where he has multiple home runs, or he just contributes in some way to the win. The Yankees chose to play Alex Verdugo in all 5 World Series games when they had Trent Grisham at their disposal. And I had mentioned this on Reddit, and someone said, well, you don't know what Trent Grisham would have done last year. But okay,
Doesn't
true.
matter.
But we saw what Alex Verdugo was doing, and it wasn't anything. So anything Trent Grisham could have done would have probably been better than what Alex Verdugo gave us.
I believe Trent Grisham, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe he had 13 home runs last year too in scattered play. The power stroke was there last year. He didn't play a lot. So I think he did show that he was able to hit. The fact that he wasn't getting a shot again, Verdugo played in all 5 of those World Series games last year. It's a joke. Another guy who's been getting it going too. Friday's game, Carlos Rodon looked awesome against his former team. Looked really good. And then you go to Saturday's game with Cam Schlittler, who looked electric in that game, not giving up anything. Gave up 1 run. 1.60 ERA in 6 starts in August. He's really started to turn things and really figure things out. It was really that one poor start, and since then, he's been absolutely unbelievable for them. I think he's going to be one of the starters in the postseason. That's how good he's been, and he's got that kind of stuff too.
Yeah. By the way, the 1.60 ERA in August is the lowest ERA in August by a Yankee since Ron Guidry in 1978, who had a 1.34 ERA in 6 starts.
Good company to be a part of, I'd say.
Yeah, they won an extra inning game on the road. Again, a miracle. This is a game that felt like it would have been lost in June or July.
2 in a row on extra innings on the road, by the way, which is unbelievable. I love how they turned it on late. One other guy that needs to be given his flowers, Anthony Volpe, played a lot better in this series. I know it's a bad team he's going up against, but played a lot better in this series, made some solid contact, putting the ball in play. we kill him when he plays bad, and we certainly killed him a lot this year. Got to give him his praise when he's played well. And also the history portion of it. Judge's home run on Sunday, tied him for Yogi Berra on the all-time list of the Yankees. I believe number 5 all time. He's going to pass number 4, which I believe is why is it mistaking my head right now? But he's gonna pass number 4 within the next couple of days. I think
it's DiMaggio.
It's DiMaggio. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And he's at 361. He's gonna pass that in a few days. He's not gonna get to number 3 though. 3 is Gehrig, 2 is Mantle, and 1 is Ruth. He's not getting to Gehrig's like another 200 home runs away. So, which is crazy to think about when you look at Lou Gehrig's career, how he hit that many home runs and had that much production in not playing a full career is outrageous to me.
Because he was that good in the limited career that he had.
It's insane. But yeah, Judge tying for number 5 all time on the Yankee list. It'll be fitting that he'll be the number 4 guy when all is said and done.
Yeah, and one more note, Jazz Chisholm Jr. is not very far from a 30-30 season. He's almost there.
No, which is pretty terrific. Honestly, we addressed it the other day that if you counted his first 162 games with the Yankees, he was a 30-30 player, which is really good. And now he's going to have a 30-30 season in just this year alone. So really, really positive sign. And he's had his ups and downs this year, but has had a really good year overall.
Oh, and one more thing. The Yankees have a legit shot of having, I think, 10 players finish with above 20 home runs this season.
Which makes the record more inexcusable, but we'll get to that in more episodes throughout the year.
Yeah. All right, well, don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notifications so you know when our videos go up. You can also join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. The link is in our description. You'll get texts from us. You can text us questions, comments, reactions to trades and signings, any roster moves that are made. We will tell you about them. We send out the lineups during the season and breaking news so you don't have to check social media. There's a 14-day free trial. Coming up, we're going to take a look around the league and see how everyone else is doing heading into the last month of the regular season. Next.
Hey, Locked On Yankees fans, are you still paying full price for gas? Stop leaving money behind. Get real cash back every time you fill up with the free Upside app. Simply download the free Upside app in the App Store or Google Play right now and start earning cash at the pump today. Use my limited time promo code SEASON and get an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. You can make up to $300 a year just from buying the gas that you already needed. At first, I thought this was too good to be true, but it's totally legit. Real people are getting paid just to make their daily commutes, and you can too. Plus, you can cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Don't let this offer drive on by. Download the free Upside app now and use my limited time promo code SEASON for a limited time 25 cent per gallon bonus. That's promo code SEASON. Disclaimer, the offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions. And Locked On Yankees is also brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL season is almost here, and FanDuel is making sure that you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Now, I love using FanDuel because it lets you involve everything and get involved in the game. In-game parlays, season parlays, everything you want to make yourself have the most fun watching your games every single week. The idea of sitting on the couch and melting into it and checking the FanDuel app all day, nothing better than that. Plus, it's quick, easy, and it's the best way to add a little more energy to your Sundays throughout the rest of the year. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. And guys, we have an important request. Locked On wants to hear from you. We've put together a survey to learn more about our listeners and make your favorite podcasts even better. This is your chance to tell us what you like, what you don't, and answer questions about our advertising. Go to lockedonpodcast.com/survey to get started. Everyone who completes the survey will be entered for a chance to win one of 10 $100 Amazon gift cards. Again, that's lockedonpodcast.com/survey. You can also find the link in the show notes. Thanks for helping us out. So, Stacey, we have a month to go in the baseball season, and as officially September 1st, we're in the last calendar month of the baseball season, which is absolutely nuts. And at this point standing, there are 7 American League teams fighting for 3 total wild card spots. The NL is there's a little less real estate to advance the NL, but the AL's got a lot of room here. The Yankees right now are at the top of the AL, 76-61. Boston's right behind them at 76-62. The Mariners are a few games back, 3 to be exact, at 73-64. And now it gets dicey. Kansas City and the Rangers still sit 3 games back. The Rangers have gotten really hot in the last week. They're coming off a sweep right now, which is crazy how the Rangers seemed dead and out of it being 6 games back a week ago, and they've made up those 3 games within a week. They're right back in it. They're actually now above Kansas City. They're 2.5 back. Kansas City's 3 back. Cleveland is 4 back, and then Tampa Bay is 5.5. That's where I cut it off. Tampa Bay's had a really hot 2 weeks, and they've got themselves back, and they were 9.5 out of it 2 weeks ago. And now they're right back in the picture. I don't know if Tampa Bay is going to make it, but let me just say as a side note, this is the most Tampa Bay Rays thing ever. To be completely dead and buried with no one on the roster you can pretty much name, and then all of a sudden they're right back in it. They're sweeping teams out of baseball in a 2-week period. So that is a little ridiculous. Out of all these teams, do you see the Mariners falling out of it and someone jumping over them, or do you think it's pretty much going to stay the way that it is? I think the Yankees and Red Sox personally are probably a lock for 1 and 2.
I think so too. I don't know which order it's going to be.
True.
But I think it's possible. You know what? I think it's possible because the Mariners aren't that far out of first place in the AL West either. And I think that maybe them and Houston could fight for that, and one of them can fall into the 3rd wild card.
For Houston, I think it's scarier because if Houston falls into that 3rd wild card, their strength of schedule is not very easy to remain in the year, and they don't have that elite level starting pitching that they've had in years past.
Yeah,
Carlos Correa has certainly heated up since he's gotten there, but there's a chance Houston falls out of this if they fall to the 3rd wild card. So it could be division winner or out of the playoffs for them. Right. Texas is the team to me that, again, and I'm going to keep saying this until the season's over. They're a team that if they get in could make one of those runs. Because their pitching stat now, I know Evaldi's done for the year now, but still with DeGrom there, with the way that Leiter's pitched this year, there's a legitimate chance they make a run, and they're not a team that you want to play, Texas, in my opinion. And I can't believe Kansas City's hung around for as long as they have. It just feels like with their youth and the struggling they've had all year, I felt like they'd fall apart at some point, but they have really hung around. Right now, when I ask you, Yankees catch the Blue Jays, yes or no? They're 3 games back, and I'll tell you this: they've got that series in the Bronx. You know what I mean? And Toronto's been known to choke these kind of things in years past.
True.
Like, it would not be beyond them. They have not killed it since that crazy June they have not been great since then.
Right. I think it might be one of those situations like the Yankees kind of like fending off the Orioles.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I think ultimately it might be where the Yankees like finish like a half game back. Like, it might be really close.
We mentioned that situation in the AL West where the Mariners are 2 games back of the Astros. They could still catch them. The Central is all but over. The Detroit's got a 9.5 game lead over Kansas City. So if Kansas City gets in, they're getting in as a wild card. It's the West. It's a little murky there. Let me just talk about the NL real quick because this is so weird. The Mets, middle of the week, swept the Phillies, and they got the division down to 3 games, and everyone thought there was a chance the Mets could actually come back and win the NL East. Well, then they just lost 3 out of 4 to the Marlins following that. Right. How is that possible, Stacey? Like, you can't keep that momentum going forward, or the Mets just like not good?
It's the same thing as the Red Sox. The Red Sox have that big series against the Yankees last weekend. They win 3 out of 4, and then they lose 2 out of 3 to the Pirates.
Yeah. And
the Red Sox almost have the opposite problem of the Yankees, where they don't do that well against bad teams, but they do better against better teams.
Yeah.
It's just baseball is odd. And it's the same thing with the Dodgers. We talked about the Dodgers and the Padres. The Dodgers always seem up for the Padres, but then when they're playing someone else, they're kind of like,
yeah.
I don't know. I thought it was weird too.
Milwaukee had that crazy run a few weeks ago. Then the Cubs beat them in 4 out of 5 in Wrigley in their 5-game series they had.
Yeah.
And now it's back to 6.5 games. That division got up to 11 at one point. The Cubs have cut it in half. Any chance you give the Cubs come back? Milwaukee's schedule is not too favorable the rest of the year. But they seem to beat the good teams anyway. So I don't know if I really think that anyone's going to step in front of them. They're a powerhouse.
Yeah, I think that might be too much for the Cubs to overcome. By the way, the Cubs lost on a walk-off triple on Sunday to the Rockies.
Yeah, and they came back in that game. They were down 5-2 in the ninth. They scored 5 in the top of the ninth and then got walked off at the end.
Yeah.
So the Phillies have that 6.5 game lead in the East. It looks like they're probably going to wrap that up at some point. Dodgers and Padres at the top of the West. I think the Padres are going to win that division just because that their schedule is I think that they're the only team with an easier schedule than the Yankees going forward.
Yes, they are ranked. They're ranked 30th.
Yeah, so their schedule is super, super easy. I think they have 2 series against the Rockies going forward. So I think the Padres are going to win that division. The Dodgers are going to fall back to a wild card. Do you think the Reds, and careful with what you say if you're going for a raise, because our boss is a big Reds fan and hosts Locked On Reds, but I will ask you this. Do you think the Reds have a legitimate chance of catching the Mets for that final wild card spot, or is it pretty much wrapped up? Because it's between the Reds and the Mets at this point.
2 things. He's on vacation this week. He's not going to be watching us. And 2, no, the Reds are falling out. The Mets are going to The Mets don't have to worry about the Reds. I don't think they have to worry about the Reds.
It is crazy. The Mets are a team that they don't get any production out of their starting pitching whatsoever. And I know if you're a Yankee fan out there who knows a Mets fan locally, they're going to try and tell you that Juan Soto's had a good year for them. And the numbers are good, but find me the big hit he's had this year. It's just, he just does not come through in the clutch for them. Good numbers overall, but it's very, it's more like a Washington Nationals Juan Soto. Numbers are good. But other than the World Series year, what production did they have?
So let's put this up just for a second, because this is the remaining schedule. And if you look, you see the Yankees down at the bottom because they have the 29th hardest or the second easiest schedule.
Look at it, yeah.
Coming up. So all the other teams, like we pointed out, the Red Sox are right in the middle. The Blue Jays have the 7th hardest, if I recall correctly, because I'm looking and it's very small, but I believe the Blue Jays are at number 7. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So where are the Astros on that list? Can you see it better than me? Because I have it set.
Yeah, they're 23rd. 23rd. Mariners are 24th.
So those schedules are not that bad.
No, they're neck and neck. If you're a Yankee fan rooting for the keeping track of the playoff chase, by the way, or the MVP chase, root like hell for the Mariners to miss the postseason, because I think that'll decide the voters a lot if they miss the postseason. Because Cal Raleigh had a terrible August. He had 8 home runs in August and had like 12 hits.
Right. Well, he had tied Judge in WAR. They were both at 7.3, and then Judge pulled ahead of him again.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have a real big episode if Judge misses out on the MVP, because I think it's clear and obvious, honestly. And I think the only way Raleigh wins it is on voter fatigue.
It's funny you said that. I'll say this briefly, and then we'll go to segment 3. I was looking on Reddit in the baseball subreddit, so not the Yankees subreddit, but the baseball subreddit. And I saw people who root for the Angels. I saw people who root for the Cubs, for the Phillies, saying that it's Judge's to lose. It's his MVP. Like, they think he's going to win it. They don't think Raleigh's going to. You never know. I just found that interesting because I figured because Judge is a Yankee and people are always against the Yankees, that they would just be like, no, give it to. But a lot of people
it could be voter fatigue. It could be voter fatigue. They're just sick of seeing the Yankee win it. But to me, I think it's Judge. But
how can you deny how good Aaron Judge is and how bad the Yankees are when Aaron Judge doesn't do something? Like, that shows how he's the MVP.
Your points are convincing.
I sometimes have them. Sometimes. All right. Coming up, we're going to tell you some news from around the league, including Robinson Cano's pursuit of 4,000 professional hits next.
This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks, the daily fantasy app where making the right call can actually pay off. You and I make decisions every single day, but on PrizePicks, being right means cashing in. With football back, PrizePicks is the simplest and fastest way to get in on the action. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you can turn your takes into real prizes all in less than 60 seconds. I've been playing PrizePicks a lot lately, and it's such a fun way to stay locked in for the season. It's quick, it's easy, and honestly, my favorite way to follow along with football. I also love checking the projections, like Josh Allen for more or less than 270 passing yards, Saquon Barkley more or less than 1 rushing touchdown. There's so many ways to get involved, and there's no better way to do it than with PrizePicks. And the best part, even if one of your picks misses, PrizePicks has invented the flex play, so you still double your money. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after you play your first lineup. That's code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. And guys, not only do we cover your team every single day, but now we're giving you instant episodes after every single game. You can check out the Locked On Yankees postcast. It's hosted by Jay Berman, and it appears right here on the Locked On Yankees podcast feed. It also streams on our YouTube channel. Get rapid reaction to all the biggest moments with the Locked On Yankees postcast. So, Stacey, the Yankees are on their way down to Houston as we speak to take on the Astros starting Tuesday for a 3-game series. They are all heading down there wearing Midwestern cowboy garb. That is what they are dressed in, which is pretty fun to get on a plane wearing that kind of stuff. And as soon as they get to Houston, apparently they are they have a barbecue restaurant bought out, and they are doing their team fantasy football draft. So that'll be pretty cool.
Cody Bellinger, I know you're not watching, but don't put sauce on anything, okay? Because...
And make sure your wings are cooked.
Yes.
All right? That was a problem. I know you've had issues with that in the past.
Yeah.
But let's make sure they're fully cooked. Let's get it right. 165 internal temperature. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
They shouldn't screw it up in Houston. If there's a place where they should get the barbecue right, it's there. Maybe not. I forgot where he got sick. I think it was Chicago where he got sick the last time. Yeah, don't trust the wings in Chicago.
They got sick twice. He's been sick twice. He needs to be careful.
Yeah, not good. But good luck on your fantasy football drafts if you're the Yankees. I know Trent Grisham is a really big fantasy football fan. I'm sure a lot of other guys. Luke Weaver, too, is a really big fantasy football guy. So
Yes, I've seen him talk about it, and I sit there like, wow, he really knows what he's talking about there.
Crazy stuff. So I think, didn't Trent Grisham get into the fight with his teammate a few years ago in the outfield? The fantasy football thing? No,
that was Tommy Pham smacking Jock Peterson.
There you go. That's who it was. Trent Grisham
Tommy Pham is the one that beats people up. Trent Grisham is a laid-back dude.
A wholesome man.
Yeah.
Yes. Some news from around the league. The Phillies have signed Walker Buehler after the Red Sox cut him last week. I was surprised the Red Sox cut him, probably to make roster moves, but to cut him at this point in the year when you have September call-ups coming up.
It was to bring up that kid that came up who looks like a pitcher from the 70s.
I know, but just wait a day for September 1st and then call him up then. I didn't understand that at all. Yeah. Walker Buehler hasn't been terrible, but also hasn't been great. He will fill in a spot in the Phillies rotation, obviously, with the ending of the season for Zach Wheeler, which is just, horrendous for the Phillies case. He'll be in the minors. They're aiming for a September 12th start. Could be a good piece of experience though to put into a postseason start because you know that he's been there, done that. He won't be too nervous in that spot. I don't know if you saw this highlight, Stacey. Taylor Ward, the outfielder for the Angels, attempting to make a catch in the outfield, ran into the scoreboard in like one of the outfield wall scoreboards, the metal ones. Thankfully, he got up immediately and basically waved for the trainer to come over, but he was cognizant enough it didn't knock him out or anything. He was just bloody from the head and had a bunch. It was awful. They had to cart him off, but everything looks like he is okay. He's fine. So that is a good thing to see, but scary stuff out of there.
Head cuts are
scary to see.
They're scary because you can have a little one and there will just be so much blood that it looks like, that's why, old school wrestlers used to use the razors to cut their heads to not fake, but to make it. And then it would just be pouring down their faces. It's just, there are a lot of like blood vessels there and everything. So I'm glad that he was able to flag people down because that's scary. They have to do something about those types of walls. Honestly. Yeah,
I'm surprised they haven't gotten rid of them at this point. The way the technology has gone, even the Yankees had the auxiliary scoreboard there for a while when the new stadium was built. Everyone was sick of it and they got rid of it at some point. So it's not even a thing that they really need anymore. In that gambling case in Cleveland involving Emmanuel Clase, MLB announced this kind of went under the radar on Sunday because I guess it's a holiday weekend and this is why they dumped it on Sunday. But we got it for you on Locked On Yankees. Both of those players have now officially been suspended until further notice. And that was a statement coming out of Major League Baseball, which to me is pretty incriminating. That means that they've got the evidence on these guys and they're just waiting to solidify their details and cross their I's and T's because that does not look good by any means, Stacey. That's a bad look for Major League Baseball.
Yeah, because this was the day where they were going to decide what to do next, and that's what they're doing next. So that doesn't bode well for them. No,
not a good look. So you mentioned this story. I want to give this one to you because you love this story and it's such a good one.
So Robinson Cano is playing with the Red Devils down in the Mexican League. They are in the playoffs. He went 2 for 4 with a double on Sunday in their playoff game. They ended up winning 5-2. So the Devils tied their series at 1-1. And he's at 3,992 hits. He's 8 away from 4,000 in his professional career at the ripe old age of 42.
Did he announce whether or not he intends on playing next year?
I don't know.
Okay, because if he's a couple short, you think he'll play for a game or two just to try and get there and then retire? But he's clearly playing well at 42 years old, so I don't even know if he would retire. Like, he might definitely play next year because he's playing well. It's not like he's a scrub.
Yeah, and there was another number. I believe he was at, he's not going to match it, but career doubles, he has, where are they? Let me look. 851 doubles professionally. And as far as everyone knows, he only trails David Ortiz, who finished with 899, and Tris Speaker, who finished with 855.
Which is one of the most random baseball facts you can ever pull on someone, is who has the most doubles in Major League history. And everyone's going to give you a very typical answer, is Tony Gwynn or whatever. And it's Tris Speaker, which no one knows. It's the best.
Well, no, it's David Ortiz, and then Tris Speaker is right ahead of Cano.
Speaker?
Huh?
Ortiz passed Tris Speaker? I think Tris Speaker has the number one.
It says David Ortiz has 899 and Tris Speaker has 855.
There you go. So David Ortiz passed Tris Speaker, but yeah, bring up the Tris Speaker one to your friends at your lunch table, Malachi. You'll be the smartest guy in the room. Also, in other Yankee news, IKF was picked up by the Blue Jays. It does annoy me a little bit because he fits that Blue Jays team perfectly. He is he fits that team, just the way that he plays and everything. Stay tuned for his big hit against the Yankees in their series in a few weeks. And the Cubs, they're signing Carlos Santana after the Guardians cut him. For the Guardians, why? It's like his 4th stint in Cleveland. He loves that franchise. The franchise loves him. Why?
Yeah, why would you?
Why cut him? You're out of the playoff race. Give me a reason. In the last month of the year to cut him. I don't get it. But good on the Cubs picking him up.
Yeah. I don't know. All right. It's another big moment for Locked On college football fans. Locked On and Fire TV present College Football Kickoff, your ultimate college football weekly preview. Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12 leads the conversation alongside 2-time AP Coach of the Year Gary Patterson, former college star Jesse Holley, and Locked On's local experts. The college football preview only Locked On can do. Catch College Football Kickoff every Thursday throughout the season, only on Fire TV. So that'll do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias.
And I'm Brian McCann. We'll see you guys tomorrow.